Hi, I am Divine Kika, and this is Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. And today I'm interviewing my dear friend, Paul Sterling, who is an amazing love and intimacy coach. He's a bestseller. He has this lovely book, Love More, Argue Less, is his whole thing. So the book is Argue Less, Love More, and he knows all about relationships. So why are we in relationships? How to do relationships better. And one of the things that I really love about Paul is he really knows about communication. He knows compassionate communication. And I think one of the greatest tools to create fantastic relationships is the way you communicate. So we are going to talk today about why we get in relationships. And
I'm going to be presumptuous. I'm going to say the only reason to be in a relationship, and I know that it's going to trigger some people, and I know when I first heard about it, I heard about it from Tony Robbins, and it triggered me a little bit, but the only reason to be in a relationship, the number one reason to be in a relationship, and think about this for a second, and in fact, write down what you think.
Why you do it, why you even want to be with people.
Right. Because relationships are full of pain and confusion and frustration and all the rest of it. So what would cause us to be in a relationship? And there's only one reason, and that is to get your needs met. And think about this. You can really love somebody, but what happens to a relationship where you really love them and you stop getting your needs met? Relationship over. Either you leave or the relationship is stopped being juicy and alive and vibrant. And so, but the problem is most of us can't talk about our needs because in our culture, we call people who talk about their needs what?
They're needy.
Needy.
So the reason why we are in relationship is because we want our needs met. But a lot of times, like you were saying, we don't know what our needs are. And in order to know what your needs are, you need to know yourself, and you need to do this deep work to know what works for you, what doesn't. And that's where we're getting into. Like, so how does one in your coaching, how do you help people to find out what are their needs in relationship and why are they in relationship? And one more thing, and this is a complex question. A lot of people are in relationships, they are not having their needs met, and they continue in the relationships. And one of the things that puzzles me as a coach is to see that people stay in relationships that are not fulfilling at all, and they don't give it up. Can we talk about all these things?
We can talk about all those things. And so number one, there are 10 top needs. And we can go through, maybe we'll list them. But it's not that complicated. There are 10 top needs. And, you know, a lot of women say that the only reason men are in a relationship is for what? Sex. And some men think that too. And it's been interesting. I've had clients.
I think it goes both ways.
Right, it can. And sex is one of them. Physical intimacy, sexual intimacy. There's 3 types of intimacy. So this will make up 3 of the needs. We need emotional intimacy, that heart-to-heart connection and being able to talk about our dreams and desires and our fears and our doubts. And we need to have enough trust that we can create and be vulnerable. So there's emotional intimacy, there's physical intimacy, which is, you know, touch, when you touch your partner. And then sexual intimacy, and I differentiate between physical intimacy and sexual intimacy. And a lot of times people resist physical intimacy because they're afraid it's going to lead to sex and they don't want sex right now. But they would love if you would just hold me for a minute and cuddle me for a minute and start to understand the distinctions. There is a huge difference between a cook and a chef. And chefs know a lot of distinctions about spices, about light and all that. And most people are cooks in their relationship, not chefs. To be a chef, you have to know at least what the top 10 needs are and then beyond.
So, okay, we are in relationships because we want our needs met. And a lot of times we forget about that. A lot of people, a lot of my clients, I've seen it, they forget why they got in the relationship in the first place. And or I've seen a lot of men that they get into a relationship and then they become the life of their partners. Everything is to satisfy her and then they start to forget about themselves. And this is one of the things that I coach them back, is to coming back to yourself, coming back to realize that you also deserve to be happy, that you deserve to have your needs met.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes from really loving yourself and accepting that you deserve to have it all, accepting that you deserve to be happy and fulfilled. And it takes a lot of work to accept that and really live a life of love, power, and freedom like that. And so what is the first step for one to realize that is and we all can say, oh, we have to love ourselves first, but what is the first step is to understand, in my opinion, is to understand what you really need and that you deserve it, and then remember that. But what is on the way of that? What are you not seeing in your coaching? And then I can talk a lot.
I'm going to back up and answer a question you asked last time, and it will tie into this. If you look at, like, if there was a bell curve, on one end of the bell curve is martyrs, and you described that. Martyrs are, my needs aren't important, and I'll give up everything for you. Yours are the only needs that are important in the relationship, and I'll just suffer. The other side of that,
be a passive aggressive,
right? And I'll make you pay.
Yeah, I'll make you pay.
The other side is the narcissist, where the narcissist says, my needs are the only needs that are important in the relationship, and your needs don't matter. So it's like, how do we get in a relationship where both sets of needs are precious? And it's a dance, because we end up being in the habit of relationship rather than actually being in a relationship. We're in an unconscious habit.
That is a place in relationship where it can be very sweet, and you enjoy seeing your partner happy. When you enjoy, and I'm now in my relationship, I really enjoy doing things for my boyfriend because I enjoy, it fulfills my heart seeing him happy. And that is a sweet space to be, like, and I know he feels the same way for me, and that's the dance, that's that joy of supporting and loving and giving in a way that now we are both one, and we're both, like, everything is for the both of us. But most people don't get that because they don't have the courage to say what they need, or to even know and inquire deeply what they need.
So one of the
how do we find out?
Okay, so first, be able to identify what the top 10 needs are, and then actually ask for what you really want. Because a lot of times we're afraid of sounding needy or too desperate or whatever. So we start by toning down. Say, what I really want tonight is I want to go to a movie, and I want to go to a French restaurant, and I want to go to and get a massage when I get home. Like, this is my dream night. And I think, well, you know what? I can't have my dreams, so maybe what I'll start by asking, maybe we could watch a Netflix show and get a takeout. So, like, I'm already compromising before I open my mouth, and you never have any idea of what I really want and need.
Well, yes, and then you become resentful, and even if you don't say it, it will show up in the way you feel. And this is a big thing, guys, and women and men. Sometimes you don't say something you're upset about, or something you're not feeling 100% about. Even if you don't say, your partner, your children, the people you're in relationship with still will know, because they can feel that is a resentment, that is that I didn't ask for what I really needed. And sometimes you gracefully just don't care. Like, you would be totally okay to be home or go, and then it doesn't matter to you, and that's that sweet space.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case. And sometimes you're going to say, what I really would like to do is this, but I believe that what's best for us is that. And that's okay to state that, because you're giving a gift to your partner by saying.
Well, another way of giving that same sort of thing is by going, okay, if you could have it all your way, what would you want to do tonight? Or if I could have it all my way, here's what I'd want to do. And let the fantasies run. Get out there and express, be vulnerable.
A lot, yeah. And what I notice is, like, guys have a little hard. Women, we kind of like, oh, I want this, I want chocolate, blah, blah, blah. Guys are a little more careful about saying what they really want.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's very, it's a gift when somebody expresses what they desire, because now I have the opportunity to serve. And this is about receiving, really. Like, it's going to, are you able to really receive touch, receive love, receive presence, receive somebody wanting to satisfy you. And a man, most of the time, I notice it's not a judgment, it's just a perception that I notice that men have a little more, and I love that men like to serve and give, but when you express what you really want, I want you to know that is also a gift.
Because one of our needs, our top 10 needs, is the need to contribute. And if nobody is receiving, there's nobody, I can't contribute. And
beautifully said, Paul. I love how Paul has a beautiful way to explain things. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. And so it's this dance of open communication. And what we're trying to do is either give a gift or receive a gift. And most conflict, because I do a lot of conflict resolution with couples, couples that feel like it's hopeless. They still love each other, but they think the relationship's over. And we turn it around. And part of the way of doing it is be able to identify what needs are being met and what aren't being met, and give them the tools to communicate about that.
Yes, and when we express that, we can save relationships. And another thing that I think people don't appreciate what is already working and don't express that. And I think that's missing a lot in relationships these days is, yes, it's stating the obvious, but when you show gratitude for something your partner is already doing that is good, it makes them feel good and makes them want to do more. That's the psychology of it. Is he brought you flowers, you thank him, you praise him, and then he will do it again because he loves to feel like he's serving. Same way, guys, like if she did something good, she loves to know that you loved it. And why not say it more? Why not express it more, right? But so we figured out the reason for relationships. So we are just selfish. We just want to go to relationship because we want our needs met. Oops. And that's okay.
That is okay.
To own that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can I go back to that? It's okay.
And the key here is, and Kika's brought it up, but it's like how much love, there's two sides. How much love can I receive? How much love can I let in? My beloved, who is beyond a massage therapist, I think we call it transformational touch therapy.
How lucky, huh?
Definitely, I'm a lucky guy. And she's amazing at this. And she gave me this awesome massage the other night. And I really had to let it in. It was stretching me. How much love can I let in? That's half of it. And then how much love can I express? And everything else is either one of those two things. How much love do I let in? How much love do I express? And that's what makes a relationship great. And when a relationship's really working, and you brought it up, it's like what makes a relationship juicy is when it's easy to win and hard to lose, and you're in a state of gratitude.
Easy to win is if I ask you a few things that I need, you're willing to listen and to see how you can make it. And then if you can't, you will say it. Yeah.
And the other part of winning is like if you wanted roses and I brought you lilies or something. And
it's lilies, tulips, and roses for me. That's the order.
Okay.
But
but
if
I brought you dandelions,
then it's not going to work.
but still being appreciative of, like, thank you for bringing me flowers. Of course. And you'll get much more out of me.
Right. Then you bring flowers again.
Bring roses.
And I love this dandelions, and I really love roses and tulips.
So that's the good side when you're in gratitude. The other side, when it starts to downhill, is when you take each other for granted and it becomes easy to lose and hard to win.
Or obligation. Now, like, oh, now I expect you to bring flowers every week. And then if you don't, then I just get upset. And I've seen it in couples where they just have these expectations of each other and not enough gratitude. And I think every now and then we need a relationship reset And the reset is to say what is working, what is not working, what I'm grateful for, what do I need more. And to know that often, like, do you think it's healthy to just take a look at that every month to see? I think it's a good way.
It's a good way. And it's also learning how to make requests versus demands, because if you make a demand, it's almost guaranteed you're going to get resistance.
So what is a demand? I love this topic. It's so important. Yes.
So anything that feels like should, have to, must, it makes a demand. It feels like
should, have to, or must.
Like, yeah. You
must bring me tulips.
Or even insinuating like, you're so cold and distant, you should give me a hug because I'm not getting enough hugs. So if I start my request by making my partner
blaming and shaming,
yeah,
that's
BSW,
not...
bad, stupid, wrong.
Okay, so the way to go about it is to say, I'm feeling, I would like to, it would be nice to, and the demand is when you're willing to hear a no.
Well, not just willing to hear a no, but even if you hear a no, being with the disappointment of it, you can still be disappointed.
Yes, but but that's the difference, right? It's a demand when you're not willing to hear a no, then it's a real demand. Well,
it's also punishing them when they say no, and trying to enter their world. Like, why would you say no? If I want to set you up to win too. So if I want a back rub and my partner's just come back from a day of doing massages, me asking for that is like asking her to go back to work again.
Right.
When she just got off of work. And so I'm not setting her up to win or me up to win. So I want to time it and make sure that they're in a good space that they actually would want to give it to me. Because my partner, in most relationships, your partner wants to meet your needs. If you ask them and set them up to be your hero versus a loser.
There you go. That's the key. And I think that's the key when you show appreciation, when you show that you are happy, you stimulate them to do more. And a lot of times what I see is the reverse. And there is a way to save relationships when you show more of that appreciation before you give up. There is a way. So we are in relationships because we have needs and we want them met. And then there is solutions to get our needs met. So can you give me like 3 mistakes that people do? So one is demanding that we talked about. What is another mistake that people do when they're trying to get their needs met, but they don't know how to express it?
Okay. So this is an advanced strategy. I should give you simpler ones. But I want to differentiate between a need and a strategy. A strategy is a way to get the need met. So I might say, I need to go to, we said it earlier, a French restaurant tonight. Is that a need? No, that's a strategy, a French restaurant. So what is it that I really need? The need might be for ease or entertainment or good food or company or to relax or to celebrate something. So the closer I can get to what the need is, I can be flexible on the strategy and committed to getting the need met. Did that make sense?
Yes. What is your thoughts on compromising?
Actually, I don't like compromise. I know that.
Good. Oh, God, thank you.
Compromise to me is like lose-lose. You want to go to a Thai restaurant. I want to go to a French restaurant, so we go to a Vietnamese restaurant. Nobody gets to win. But since you're miserable and I'm miserable, then it's okay. No.
Nothing against Vietnamese food.
Right. No. We both, well, I don't know.
I actually like it.
Yeah, so do I.
But the point is like if you compromise too much, you both become resentful, you both lose, the relationship lose, the connection lose, the intimacy gets lost. So compromising is not a good idea. And I don't hear a lot of coaches saying that.
No, I hear everybody out there saying compromise away until you're miserable and you've sucked the life out of your relationship. and out of the bedroom. And speaking of the bedroom, we weren't really, but I just wanted to take a second to talk about Kika's new book. And this has become an international bestseller. And she coaches, especially has become like what the world's #1 men's coach on helping men get more passion and bliss and pleasure in the bedroom. So not only giving it to their partner, but learning how to let it in and receive it themselves.
And having amazing relationships, like stepping up on the relationships, like having really truly living a life of love, power, and freedom, and experiencing exquisite relationships, which is a divine birthright for all of us. And that's what I stand for, and that's what I believe we all deserve, to be fully happy. And in my book, I have a session here that I talk about boundaries, desires, intentions, and how to express our needs. And it's a little chapter here, and I invite you to read and actually show your partner that, because a lot of times we don't know what is a boundary, what is not okay with me. Mm-hmm. And if I don't express to my partner in a loving way what is not okay with me, I am disconnecting, I am losing from having that fantastic relationships. Every time you don't step into your power, every time you don't step into knowing what you really need and want, and you compromise too much, you're losing yourself, and your partner is losing the relationship. You both lose. And that's and I love that you're bringing this up, the needs. And Paul and I had a little bit of a conversation before, behind the scenes, and while we were setting up, and we were talking about how it's okay to need your partner. And then now there's such a new agey thing that, if you're needy, or if you, what was the team who were saying like that, if you don't, like, sovereignty is one thing, like we all need to be sovereignty beings, and we need to trust and love ourselves and get what we want in life. But in relationship, there is a place to surrender and need your partner.
Yeah.
And that has not been honored for this new generation. And I think that is the deepest love and intimacy happens when you actually acknowledge that you need your partner in a certain level. And that's not being needy. There's a big difference in there.
You're being voluntarily vulnerable.
That's delicious.
Well, I wish I could take credit for that. Actually, one of my great mentors, a woman named Allison Armstrong, taught me that, and a lot of very powerful stuff.
That's so beautiful. So what is the #1 thing that can solve this? How do I get it? Why we get in a relationship is to get our needs met. But what is your 3 things that people can do right away? Simple things that they can do to get their needs met more in their relationships.
This is going to be a longer answer, but I will try to narrow it down. If you, I know you just flew to Tahiti. When you got on that plane, if the pilot got on there and said, "Hi, I'm glad you're on this flight. I have never flown a plane before, but I have read a book about it, and I am self-taught, and I'm going to do it all myself," what would your thoughts be? Like, where is the nearest exit?
Let's get out of here.
And see, the #1 reason that relationships fail is because most people, especially us men, and I am an ex-commercial fisherman from Alaska. I spent 18 years as a guy that had to do it myself. And we're not taught how to ask for coaching. But we are in certain areas. Like in sports, us men, we always get a coach. If it's important, we get a coach. So
businessmen get coaches.
Yeah, businessmen. Any place they want to be successful, except for we have this weird-ass belief in relationships that we're somehow supposed to be born knowing what to do in a relationship, or without reading a book, we're supposed to know what to do in the bedroom, how to please ourselves and our lover. So #1, get a coach. Be coachable. I know that's a tougher answer, but if you really want to succeed, it's really hard to do it by yourself.
And I remember a moment in my life that I decided, like, you know what? I don't know how to honor, how to really honor myself. I come from a background of being abused, of being molested by family members. I mean, like, my background it's very sad. Like, the history I've been, we were talking about it today, like, that growing up, I've been through tough times, and I didn't know how to love myself and ask for what I want or set boundaries. And I'm so grateful that I had a mentor when I was 16, and she started me on the path of studying Osho and study all these things and learning. And once the journey started, things started to get better. Doesn't mean that everything gets fixed right away, but things start to get better in the moment that you decide you want to learn and improve that area of your life. And you need guides. And for some of you that saw my video when I was celebrating my book being #1 in the world right now, and I'm still so grateful about that. Thank you so much. And it's so humbling, like, to receive so much love and so much appreciation. And I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me in that. It's beautiful. It's a journey, and you need somebody to help. If I didn't have the help, I would never be in a good relationship right now. And then part of it is luck, yes, but if you don't know how to maintain a relationship, it's a fairy tale. You don't know how to keep it, the everyday life going, that relationship growing. So what is the 3 things I can do to have my relationship, my needs met? Do not demand. We talked about that. Know your needs. We talk about that. Now,
have a conversation, get a dialogue about needs. Know what the top 10 needs are. I'm going to.
Okay, let's go for that. What is the top 10 needs?
#1 need. Well, actually, I want to be careful. I'm going to give you the list of the 10. It doesn't mean that you're 10, you're going to have these needs, but it doesn't mean they're in the same priority as I'm listing them. So it doesn't mean #1 is the most important.
Because we all grew up in a different way, and we all need different things, and that's okay.
One of them is certainty, and that's also trust and all that. Can I count on my partner? Can I count on myself? Can I count on this relationship?
Awesome.
Now, and a lot of this I got from studying with 2 major mentors, and like I'm going to go back to find a mentor, find a method, and commit to mastery.
Commit to mastery is the big thing that will take you anywhere you want in life. So
#1 is certainty. #2, like if you came home and we're not in a relationship where we teach together, but if I was cooking for you and I cooked you the same meal every day for 10 days in a row, you'd be very certain of the meal, even if it was good, but what would happen? You'd be what?
Bored to tears.
Bored. So what's the second need? Variety.
Yes.
So the thing is, if people don't know how to address this need, they get variety by going and having an affair or doing all this other stuff versus saying, oh, we need variety. How do we bring that into the relationship?
And then it could be simple things. Like my boyfriend said the other day, like, why you dress up every night? Like, why you have to put all these things on? I'm the same woman. Like, you're beautiful to me. Doesn't matter. His friends said, oh, you're so beautiful. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Like, what do you wear? I'm like, it doesn't matter because I want to be beautiful every night. I want to look in a way that I surprise him somehow. And we can do that in relationship in different ways. And doesn't mean like you have to dress up every time, but you could cook something different. You could show up different. How you talk, how you express yourself. And don't be overdo this, but show up, ask what are the different things, be curious, be interested in satisfying.
Create magical moments. And I'll give you an example. Her French boyfriend just took her to a private island in Tahiti.
Oh my God, I'm so grateful.
So that's a moment. But it doesn't have to, it can be a small moment too. It's the amount of thought you put into it. So certainty, variety, significance. Does your partner feel like a priority? Even when, and a lot of our clients are CEOs and CFOs, and they're in startup companies, and they are working horrendous hours. And when they come home, if they don't make their partner a priority, at least even for a half an hour where they're fully focused on them and not sitting around on their phone, relationship goes. And they say, I'm doing this for us, honey. Well, if I don't feel like significant or priority, I'm out of here.
And one of the things that I've been working with the highest executives in the Silicon Valley for over 15 years, really. And I noticed the more powerful they are, the more they like to make the people around them feel significant and important. It's a skill, and it's a skill that great, powerful people have. And when you make your partner feel good about themselves, feel significant, feel honored, feel loved, then perhaps the amount of time that you spend doing things for the relationship is even less because they're already feeling it. You do the base work. And that's empowering. It is a little bit, it's like the plant. It's every day you say how beautiful the plant is and they grow. And then if we do that to plants, like it is a science. Like if you talk to plants in a nice way, you say they're beautiful every day, they grow and they become beautiful and strong. Isn't that amazing? That actually it happens that way, and it happens the same way in your relationship. It's very simple.
So
easier said than done.
Easier said, and this is also really important if you have kids.
Yes.
So that they feel significant and they feel like they're a priority in your life. Growth. We need to continue to grow because either the relationship, like a plant, either the plant's growing or it's dying. Either relationship's growing or it's dying. With my partner, we had planned to go to like 2 to 3 workshops a year. So even though I lead workshops, I've worked for people like Tony Robbins and Marshall Thurber and these other people that are amazing leaders in workshops. I continue to grow. So
yeah, I make a point in my life to also go to 3 spiritual masters or 3 new teachers every year. It's interesting that you have at least one major trip that is like a 3-4 weeks, like with a spiritual master of some kind of like master some new skill. Right now I'm learning French or whatever it is, like mastering. Because when we have that commitment in our lives, that then every area starts to become better. And when we have that commitment to master our relationships, and that's what I guide you through, to master the art of having an amazing relationship or living an exquisite love life where you experience more pleasure every day, every moment in different ways. And yeah, life will suck sometimes. Like stuff is going to happen, but how you handle it and how you move through things, this dance can get so much better and so much happier. And that's why we do what we do, because we see the results. And actually, I feel very grateful for my work because I see it happening all the time. It's like this instant gratification, almost like finish a session, you see people glowing, and then they go home and then they come and express that the results. It's really beautiful to see actually it working. And it's like receive the email or receive the text, say, oh, you know what, I just did that thing, or I just da-da-da, and see it works. So we are not talking about techniques that we don't have tested or used over years and years and years of coaching.
So I'm going to give the one last need. There's more, but I'm only going to give one more. The need for contribution. And this is an interesting thing because there's an evolution happening on the planet. And I was talking to this couple the other day, and he's super successful, and she's a stay-at-home mom. And she was saying, well, I want to do more. I want to contribute. And he's going, you should be happy. You're contributing to the kids. That's the most important contribution.
I remember hearing something similar in my marriage.
Yeah, and that,
like, why you don't need to work? Why was you just happy being the princess?
But see, for a lot of people, that's not good enough. It's not like it's not important. It's very important.
Some woman would be happy with that, not me.
Right, but a lot of people need to contribute something bigger in the world, to make a difference, to see themselves somewhere out of the home and making a difference. So you got to make sure what are their top needs, and what are their strategies to meet those needs.
And the need of contribution is so different for everybody.
It
Some
is.
people just need to contribute to make sure that their kids are well, or their life is well, or it's different for everybody. And it's your job to find out what is your partner like to do, and be curious about it, and not just say, oh, but they don't know, or they don't share. You inspire them. And this is the thing, like, you become an inspiration. When you feel like your partner is not doing something you want, or not showing, or not, they might be finding out. So be curious and allow them to find out, and support them to find out how they can contribute, or what would fulfill them.
And set each other up to win. We set each other up to lose a lot in relationships. So set each other up to win. It's like you can go and say, honey, here are my top 3 needs. Right now I need some variety, or I need to feel like a priority. Here's 3 ways that you would make me feel like a priority. You might take me out on date night. And here's the kind of restaurants I might like to go to, or a movie, or a play. Like this Friday down in Carmel, there's a comedy show. And so that's going to be, my partner will feel significant and loved, and I'll feel significant and loved. We love comedy, so we're going to go out to the comedy show. So set your partner up. Here's some ways you can win with me. This will make me feel significant, or this will make me feel intimate. Remember, I said the 3 different types of intimacy: emotional, physical, sexual. And
right, and this could be like, I don't want to shave tonight, but my partner likes it when I'm smooth, or simple things like that. Like that, it could be dress up, it could be do not dress up, it could be anything.
And don't
like it literally could be both.
Yeah, and don't leave something like intimacy or to chance, or your love life. Well, we're not feeling like it tonight. No, you put aside time and energy, and you prepare a bath, and you set it up. And I notice a lot of time, I have some women that I work with that are high-powered executives, making more than most men will ever make in their life, and they come home and they reverse roles. And so their partner, they need to unwind from the busy world and get back connected to their feminine. And it might be in a bath, or unwinding, or some other way of connecting with that gentler, softer side.
And I like the idea that before you go home, you have something to transition into. Even if it's a walk around the block, or listening to a song before getting to the house. Stop a block before, listening to a song, allow yourself to calm down, to let go of the day. Consciously say, I'm letting go of my day. So you're not bringing that to your partner. And it can be also for your partner that is home, be understanding of how to receive the person that just arrived.
Yeah.
And say,
launchings and landings.
Yeah. So how do I receive you just arrived? What is he might be needing? What is he might be feeling? Like when you got here today, I asked, how are you feeling? Would you like to sit down? And I know you drove for 45 minutes to be here. So I asked, how are you feeling? Would you like a glass of water? Would you like to sit down for a little bit? Make them feel comfortable and welcome. And it's not because it's somebody you see every day. But I'm going that you can take it for granted, because when a friend or somebody else visits you, how do you treat them? Is that different than the people you live with? Is that different than your kids? Is that different the way you answer the phone, more kind to the people that you don't know, or a client, than the way you treat a family member? I want you to think about that for a moment. How could you be more kind to the people you see every day that you love the most? Because where we feel safe the most, we tend to also, because we feel safe to have a tantrum with the people. And this is one of the things that I have a teenager. Sometimes, I used to go, because mommy, sometimes you treat other people nicer than me. And then I realize, oh, wow, I'm not giving my son the same the same level of attention, and I felt sad about that.
Yeah.
And that I had to realize that and give him more attention. And that can go for your partner, can go to your mother, can go. How are you treating the people that are the closest to you?
That's like they say, there used to be an expression of saving the good china for guests. So it was like you saved the good china and silverware for when guests come over and you treat family poorly. So
I use my fancy glasses every day. Like my kids don't like it because I get like, I have kombucha and champagne glasses.
Perfect.
Because I love it. It's like, no, I'm not going to wait to live a life later. I live it now.
So if people want to know more.
Yes. So Paul, how do we contact you? How people can have a breakthrough with you?
Well, one of the steps, thank you for that setup. That's wonderful. One of the things people can do if they really want to have a breakthrough in their relationship is they go through what I call the relationship breakthrough process. And we take them in a deep dive. And what would it be worth to find out what your top 10 needs are, what your partner's needs are, and what strategies you need to meet those needs. So it's like that, really like the happiness formula for having a great relationship. Because you could really love each other, but if you don't understand your needs and your partner's needs, you can be really miserable together.
Yeah.
In fact, the more you love each other, the more miserable you can be, the more painful it is not meeting each other's needs if you don't understand them.
Especially if you've been together too long. Yeah. Yeah.
So what people can do is go to arguelesslovemore.net. Like, so it's
arguelesslovemore.net.
And sign up for a relationship breakthrough session. And if you contact me, info, I-N-F-O, at arguelesslovemore, I will give you a special code because that session, the breakthrough process, is normally $397. And you can go get it on the website like that today. But if you send me an email over the next couple of days and put subject line, need breakthrough session, I will do it for $197 because you listened all the way to the end and I get you're committed. And if for some reason, see, the thing I love about Kika is Kika and I look at it different ways. And some people are going to relate more to the way I kind of look at it through somewhat masculine, powerful way of kicking ass and transforming relationships. And Kika has a equally powerful feminine way of doing it. And
masculine. I really believe in balancing our energies and really connecting from that way. So I also have a breakthrough session that I would like to offer you. My breakthrough session is usually $450, but I want to match with you today. Mm-hmm. And I want to give you the opportunity to have a breakthrough session with me. And honestly, I'm so happy to do this because I've been traveling so much and I do my private retreats with couples, which is an amazing work. I really love. So what I do is I take couples to private retreats in different places around the world. And then we spend the weekend. Have you seen those TV shows where you see that like somebody comes in a relationship or in a home and makes everything different? I am that kind of person that comes into a relationship and I can figure it out quickly what's needed and address it, and then people come back to love as quick as possible with this amazing pool of strategies that I have. And so a breakthrough session with me is very powerful because I rewire your brain, I rewire your neurology. Sometimes I can see in the moments of conversations, I can go deep and see what is the reason why you do things, why you function, and what is the pain you're carrying through, and then break through that. And then you start to see, oh, I've been doing this kind of way my whole life. And then it changes, just like in one session, you can change that. I change your neurology. I change the way you perceive things. I do a very fast process for that. And it's amazing. Like I've seen people like feel it even in their bodies and feel it, and the way they show up is different. And 1 hour, that's what it takes. And I do it the first session now. So I will do $197 to honor this. If you go to divinekika.com and you go to work with me, there is a little place that says appointments, and you just book now. You go online. What's going to happen is you're going to click book now, and then there will be a little coupon there that says it's $4.50. Don't get scared. There will be a little $195. So you book it now. It's $197.
$197.
Yeah, and it's when you book, you will receive a calendar for the time of our appointment, and then you can look at my schedule in there, and then you're going to book. Now, this is going to be there for 2 days, available for you. We're going to put the link below where you book it. So you can do it online. It's very fast, very easy. So it's divinekika.com, appointments, and then you just click book now, and then you go to the next page, you click book now again, and that's it. It's that simple. And then we will be making a Zoom call very soon. And if you are in the area of Los Gatos, perhaps we can even do it in person for the next 2 days.
So think about it. In closing, first place, thank you. Thank you from both of us for listening all the way through. Thank you for being that committed to love. You know, because what I want to leave is
shows that you are a conscious person, that you want to have a better relationship.
What I want to leave is I want to leave a legacy of love. I watched my parents go through a painful divorce, an unnecessary one, because they still loved each other, but they got divorced after 18 years because they didn't have the tools that Kika teaches, the tools that I teach. Mm-hmm. And so I want to help prevent that.
Yes. I come from a place that I didn't have any role model in my family on how to be in a happy relationship. And I feel sad that I actually had to do a lot of work on generations of women in my family that did not have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And then I look at men and realize, like, my coaching with men, that so many relationships that fail, or they feel like they have to be in a relationship because they committed to the relationship, and now they're punishing themselves by being unhappy. And one of the things that I see men complaining the most is, well, she's no longer interested in being sexual with me, or our intimacy is not the same. Now somehow the passion has lost, and I have such a powerful way to bring that back really quickly. It's an easy thing to reconnect and reaccess, because I'm an expert in sexuality, and I can see why people are not doing this and that. And I think everybody has the right to feel pleasure and be celebrated and loved. And it makes me really sad when I see people giving up on this. Or people say, oh, we've been together 10 years. We don't need that anymore. Oh, yeah, I've seen people saying, like, oh, we've been together so long that that's not important for us. And then their partner ended up in my office telling me that they have a lover or something like that. Or they come and say, well, I need to end this relationship. My needs are not met. Right? Or they compromise. Mm-hmm. And you can tell the couples that are making love and celebrating themselves and the ones that are not. I invite you to, let's look around. I don't know, it's my thing. I look at couples and I go to places, and I can tell the ones that are miserable with each other, looking forward to go away, and the ones that are happy. And sadly, I don't see so many happy relationships. And even though divorce rate has lowered in the last 2 years, which is a great thing, people are happier, but not happy enough.
I don't know.
47%. It was 50-something. Now it's 47-something.
I think that part of that problem, though, is there's less people getting married.
And the jumping from relationship to relationship, and not really doing the deep work with themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I have a friend that it's a couple of my friends that they separated. Mm-hmm. And this guy, he just such beautiful work with himself. He got a therapist. He took a few months off work. He really did the work inside, and wow, like, he's a new person now. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe, like, the process in 3 months, he was able to regenerate himself and really do the work. And I know that now whoever get into a relationship with him, he's going to be a much better person. And sometimes it's the person you're with is just not the person for you to be with. And that's something we need to talk about too, mm-hmm. to find out if this relationship it really is the best for you. And you have to have the courage to inquire about it.
So this is my big closing question, or opening question, invitation question. It's like, it starts with the concept of, how do you know what's important to you? It's simple. It's where you invest your time, your energy, your money. And if your relationship is not worth what both of us are offering, at least an introduction of $197, that's like half of a car payment. I just was while I was wandering around, we both are here in California, and I was looking around Carmel. I stopped in at a shoe store, and there was a whole rack of shoes that were all over $200 each for a pair of shoes. So people will invest that into shoes and not into their relationship. And so what I want you to think about is your relationship important to you? And are you investing your time, your money, and your energy into making it magnificent? Or are you hoping that it just gets better by itself?
Or when you envision yourself in an island in paradise, in the most beautiful place in the world that you ever see, you envision yourself alone, or you envision yourself with somebody you love, kissing and having this great time in the water under this. Like, what is the most beautiful moments in your life? That when I ask people this question, like, what is the most beautiful moments in your life? And I have chills right now, like, and those are moments of connection. When people describe, and it's so beautiful to hear it in seminars, that people say, what is the most beautiful thing you ever experienced in your life? It's a birth of a child. It's a union. It's a deep sexual intimacy, a loving moment, or a blessing of a teacher or something. But those are all people describe. They're all moments of connection. So if you can't create those beautiful moments of connection in your life, in your relationship, to be more open, to be constant, think about, if your heart is full, how well would you flow in everything else in your life? If you are in a happy, fulfilling relationship, then, and you know, the French, they have this as a kind of a thing for them, that the first thing is to have a good relationship, then everything else goes well. And they have this idea of that the relationship is very important. And I think in America we kind of lost it, and in some other countries we kind of lost that idea, the value that we had in older times, and life was a little harder, that the relationship was so much more significant. And I believe the relationship still is as significant in our lives, but we lost that value. And it's time to reclaim the sacredness about relationship, the sacredness of family, the sacredness of connection, because that makes you stronger and you shine higher in every level of your life.
So another quick question is, if the only thing that a session with either of us did, if the only thing it did was to get you more connected to yourself so that you can actually understand what your top 10 needs are and what is the priority and what are the strategies, would it be worth investing an hour of your time and $197 to do that?
Then, to be honest, like, people have to invest at least, like, to start $3,000 to start, for me to start to work with them. And there's a waiting list for that, and the whole thing, right? Like, it's especially now with the book launch, it's being like an amazing. So I'm willing to serve the first 10 people that show up. And after that, we see, like, because it's 2 days only, that's going to be open in my website. And I want you to just go there and click and make that decision. We can make it through video. There's no excuses. I'm traveling this week, blah, blah. Like, you can book in 3 weeks from now. That's just go to the website and book. But you have to make that appointment now.
So the last question I'm going to ask, and I've asked a lot of questions, is there's a difference between, when I teach about communication, I teach about communicating from your head, your heart, or your hurt.
I love that, from the heart.
And our hurt was our reptile brain. That's where we get angry but from our heart. And if you think about it, your heart right now, if you've been on this call the whole length, your heart is connected. Your head's job is to keep you safe, and anything that makes you uncomfortable, your head's going to tell you no. What I want you to do is put your hand on your heart and go, what does your heart tell you right now?
what do I really need in this moment?
And
it's a practice for you to ask, like, what do I really need for myself in this moment?
Yeah, and for my relationship, would this serve me and serve my relationship to become a master of making my needs precious and my partner's, not becoming a martyr and not becoming a narcissist, but actually having a healthy relationship where both needs are precious. And we're not compromising, we're making remarkable events. Like your partner took you to Tahiti, to an island. This is like a moment I feel good every time I think about your trip. So I'm guessing you feel really good.
I'm happy just being home with him. I think this is I am really celebrating a beautiful relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to, I have a therapist in Brazil, so every now and then I talk to her, and she said, you earned this. I want you to realize that you have earned this relationship. You were like a relationship guru, of course you would have, but to know that it's a feeling that a relationship doesn't come just by luck, because I had beautiful people in my life that I didn't know how to honor them or how to create a fantastic relationship with them. And I ended up throwing it away because I didn't know how. And because I learned how, I now can be in this amazing relationship. And that's a skill that I can teach you. You don't have to go to 20 years of struggle or to all of that struggle. It's something that I'm here giving you this gift. And I wish I had a mentor, way younger that could take me to where I am now. Because if I had this kind of connection before, I can see how that support, that being held and being elevated, even the relationship with my family members or my co-workers, everything would flow in a different way in my life. And it's being a lifelong to learn these skills. And that's why I'm so passionate to share this, because I see the struggles that people have. I see the struggles that I had. And I think I always say that I see people as this marble, and then I can see the sculpture that is inside. And I always see these beautiful sculptures, and people say, but I don't see it. No, I see it. I see it. I see what you can become. I see what's available for you. And I love that we are this infinite possibility of happiness and joy in our lives. And we live into a time where we're really understanding that we can have much more happiness. And people talk a lot in the world, like how everything is bad, but there's been a lot of research how everything is so much better. There is less hunger in the world. There is less fighting. There is better relationships. There's a lot of things that have improved since the 50s. The qualities of our lives now is so much better. So this is really a time for you to take control of your life and take off the plunge and decide to have happy relationships. Decide to really go for it. If anything, that what I want you to get it from this time together with us is that you deserve to be in a happy, fulfilling relationship, and life doesn't have to be miserable, or you don't have to be a victim, a prosecutor, or a perpetrator. Every time we are into those three things, we are in our wounds, and you deserve to be in a happy space. So watch when you're blaming and shaming somebody else, when you're planning an attack, or when you're victimizing yourself, you are in your wounds, you are in your pain. It's like Paul just beautifully said, you're speaking from your pain. So you either leave your past behind you, beside you, or in front of you. You don't want it anywhere near you. You just clear that shit out. Forgive my French.
That was French?
Yeah, that would be the French. But
so
clear it.
Yeah, and
be free.
One of the things I love about Kika is she spent how many years, 25 years or something, studying this. And I can remember a single trip. I went and studied with one of my mentors, a guy named Marshall Rosenberg, who's no longer with us, but it was a turning point in my life. And I had been through one divorce and at that point 3 broken engagements. And I basically thought there was something wrong with me. And I spent, at that point, it was $5,500 to go spend almost a month in Sweden with him. And then I spent a lot more money on travel and stuff like that. But it was like, and I wasn't used to spending money like that on almost anything, but especially not on myself. But I had a huge breakthrough there, and it sounds really odd, but I fell in love with myself there. And most of my life growing up, I wanted to be like my older brother because he had what looked like success. And it's like, it's investing in yourself and saving the 25 years of bouncing all around the planet. I've gone to so many different countries to learn from masters, you know, and I laugh sometimes. Somebody goes, well, I'm going to wait till it's in my town. I go, no. Dude, travel, do whatever it takes. So anyway, that's it from my side. Thank you so much. I relate
so much with the teachers and the gratitude for the teachers and the impact that they have in my life. And I wish I'd done it all earlier. You know, in the last few years, I had the most amazing mentors, and really, like, I've been to everything. Even like to be on TV, I had a mentor. You know, Clint Arthur taught me how to present myself on TV, and I was like, oh, okay, that would be so much better. But simple things, and not just that, but in life, like when we learn, like I had an amazing teacher about how to work out, how to train. To train. Monique Rod, she taught me how to train, how to lift weights, how to get in shape. I know it for life now. It's cool to have a trainer, but if nobody's there, I know how to work out. And what is that worth? What is that worth in your life when you learn a skill and then you can use it? And you deserve to do that for your relationships. You deserve to do that for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Paul, for this beautiful time, your knowledge, Paul has a beautiful heart and a beautiful dedication to his work, and I want to honor that. Like, thank you for spreading the wisdom and not being selfish and just having a relationship that is amazing yourself, but you're sharing it with the world. Thank you. And thank you for spending the time sharing your wisdom with us today. This is Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. We'll have a link below how you can reach both of us. Thank you so much
before
for
you
watching.
Go, I have to do this. I want to thank Kika. Buy her book. But what's remarkable about Kika is when you hear her history and her story, she was not treated well by men growing up. And she could have easily been resentful, angry, hurt, and justified in all of that, because of the role models or the lack of role models growing up and the abuse she went through. And instead, she's dedicated this part of her life to making a difference for men. Like, that boggles my mind. Rather than being angry and resentful, she's written a book. She honors men. She loves them. She treats them well. And she teaches them how to treat their partners better. So that is an amazing gift. So thank you.
I really believe in it. I believe that men have the potential to raise and change the planet. And I'm grateful for all the amazing men in my life that raised me to be a better person like you.
So we hope to see you soon. If we can help on your journey, pick one, pick both, but pick something, take action. Don't think about, you got a cavity. Don't sit around and wait and hope that the cavity will go away. You got a
root canal and it'll hurt more.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Ciao, everybody.
Namaste.